Hello out there and welcome to this tuning guide for the Porsche 911 RSR, which we finally received in Forza Horizon 5. With today's guide I want to show you again, like I did with the Valkyrie AMR Pro, how much faster a car can be with a fine tune. I'd also like to do this for the BMW M8 GTE, Corvette C8R, etc. to fine tune a group of cars that all compete in the same class. This way you can race with them against others without having to do the fine tune yourself. For this tune, I tried to keep the handling style of a classic Porsche, so a very stable front axle and a bit of oversteer on the rear axle. Enough of that? Let's see how the stock car competes against my tuned setup. The speed difference at the start is 2 kph, but you can slowly see that the stock 911 is faster on the straight, just because of one reason. The tuned setup has a lot more downforce. This increases the speed difference to 7 kph at the first checkpoint, and opens a gap of nearly 2/10. Section 2 on the other hand tells a different story. At the first two corners it's not that clearly visible, but at the braking point the stock RSR is much more unstable, which you can notice when you look at my steering inputs. The tuned RSR remains much steadier. Also, I was able to hit the apex nearly perfectly. That's why the tuned RSR was able to create a time difference at this point of 4/10 to create a gap of 2/10 to the stock car. The next section is a bit of a mixed bag, because you need acceleration and aerodynamics. The tuned 911 starts with 15 kph more into the section because of its advantage from section 2. At the end of the flat out part, the stock 911 still has an advantage over the tuned one, because it enters the fast right-hander with 2 kph more, but loses again because I had to use the brakes a tiny bit. The tuned 911 can just roll through this part. The gap grows to 7/10. Section 4 is pretty similar, since the braking system and setup remains the same. The only advantage for the tuned 911 is visible at the corner exit. Due to the better grip from the aerodynamic and alignment changes, I was able to hit the accelerator earlier. The gap has increased by 1500. After the downhill section you can clearly see that they are completely similar, but what happens after this are two completely different worlds. Those 10 seconds of track increased the gap to over 1.2 seconds. The reason for that was the amazing stability of the tuned Porsche. You were clearly able to see that I had to countersteer a lot with the stock one. I could have gone slower through the corner, but since I'm trying to push the cars to their limits, it's sometimes just 1 or 2 kph that makes the difference between a smooth ride or a complete countersteer chaos. Let's get to the most technical part. The narrow streets of the track right through the houses of Guanajuato. The stock RSR was just a mess. I wasn't really able to be that precise, so I took some flows and umbrellas with me. There were two main reasons. First, the ride height was a bit too low, and second, there was too much camber on the front axle, which made the car a bit twitchy. The aerodynamic changes didn't make any noticeable difference, because it was too slow, so the car wasn't producing that much more drag. The gap has increased by another 600. In the penultimate section of the track you can see the straight line difference again, but right at the corner exit of the fast left-hander you can already see where the massive aerodynamic changes are playing for the tuned 911. The car is way more left, so it has a better entry for the fast right-hander. In mid-corner you can see a speed difference of an incredible 22 kph. Here, aerodynamic, alignment and differential settings work together to make such a big difference. The gap now opens to over 2 seconds. Now, for the final straight, I'm going to let you enjoy the sound of this amazing naturally aspirated flat 6 engine. Now, this brings us to an end. A gap of nearly 2 seconds on a 2-minute test track should speak for itself. That's the reason why you should never just buy upgrades. The fine-tuning process makes such a big difference, especially when you brought a car from, let's say, B class to the S1 class. The bigger the hardware changes are, the more time you can gain by adjusting those values. And here's the leaderboard. You can also find the whole leaderboard in the video description. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, and a subscription to my channel would mean a lot to me. If you have any questions or suggestions, please use the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep the revs up high and the weight down low.